Hello everybody, my name is Chef Fernando and I am so happy to be here today to share with you one of my favorite recipes, a mushroom torta. What is a torta? It is a Mexican sandwich and we use typically two types of bread, telera or bolillo. I have some bolillos right here and I'm gonna cut them, remove some of the inside, which is gonna make it really easy to stuff it. And next, I wanna talk about the mushrooms because here in Colorado, we grow so many different types of mushrooms. There are mushroom farms all over the state. For today's recipe, I have 3 different kinds of mushrooms, and you can make this recipe with just about any kind of mushroom you may be able to get a hold of. I have some porcinis, which I'm sure you're very familiar with them, but look at these big guys. These are king oysters, and they are so flavorful. We're gonna chop them up and cut them. And the third kind of mushroom that I have some gnocchis, and they are so funky, cool looking. They're just gonna give us a lot of flavor to our dish. We're gonna be flavoring these mushrooms with a mojo de ajo, and that is a sauce based with a lot of garlic. And what we're gonna be doing first is roasting the garlic, whatever you may have access to. You can put the garlic, the whole head of garlic in foil, wrap it into a pouch, put it in the oven, or you can just break the cloves and toast it right onto the skillet. Quick note, make sure that you leave the peels because this is gonna prevent the garlic from getting brown. So we're gonna be toasting it right on a hot skillet. I have it on medium high. So after about 12 minutes, this is what it's gonna look like. You wanna make sure that it's nice and soft. You can feel it, it's softened up. And you got some parts on it that are charred. You don't really want to go any darker because it's gonna give it a nice, not a nice flavor, but it's gonna make it taste burnt. So we're just gonna peel it and look, the color is a little different. It's not as white, it becomes a little beige. And this is exactly what we want, a nice roasted garlic. Look at that, beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and put it all in the food processor and we're gonna add all of the ingredients at once. So the lime juice, I have some salt, some fresh cracked pepper, chipotles, and if you can find them, they're easily found at any Mexican market or even any supermarket nowadays. They're whole, so you can go ahead and chop them up. We want about 1/4 cup. And we're gonna get it going and puree all of it. And I'm gonna add the oil as it's pureeing. So here's our mojo de ajo, and we made enough for the mushrooms, and we're gonna have some left over. What I like to do is keep the rest in a mason jar, and it's gonna last for a couple weeks in the refrigerator. You can use it as a base for vinaigrettes, dressings, to cook any meats, even vegetables, marinate them and then grill them or roast them. This sauce is gonna bring your dishes to the next level. It's got a ton of flavor. And just a quick note, make sure that when you chop them, even if they're different kinds of mushrooms, which I hope you try different ones, make sure that they're about the same size. We want them to be uniform. Why? Because when we cook them, we want them to cook at the same time so that you don't have a little tiny piece that is gonna get done first and then this big guy is gonna take a lot longer. So just make sure that they're uniform. We're gonna start cooking the mushrooms. And the first thing we're gonna do is saute the onions until they're nice and translucent, which is gonna take about a couple minutes. We're gonna be using the sauce we made, the mojo de ajo. As you can see, it's separated, so we're only gonna use a couple tablespoons of the oil right from the top. And next, I'm gonna add all of the onions. And like I said, we're just gonna cook them until they're translucent, which is gonna take about 2 minutes. And then we'll add the mushrooms. And the mushrooms are gonna release all of their moisture. You're gonna see some juices. We wanna make sure that we cook them off. They're gonna cook in their own juices. But now, we're gonna stir our mojo de ajo and we're gonna add a couple tablespoons full of this. Just mix that up real nicely. And it's time to talk about the other flavor, which is gonna really make it a Mexican dish. Epazote is an herb from Mexico that we use in a lot of Mexican dishes, and it is quite pungent and strong. The smell of it, it's very earthy, musky, if you will. It goes great with mushrooms, with meats, a lot of fish, but in our torta, it's gonna round that up so nicely. So I'm just gonna cut the leaves, get a bunch of them going, and I'm gonna chop them up, and I'm gonna add them right into here. If you can see, there's a lot of moisture. The mushrooms are releasing their juices. That's what we want. We're gonna let them cook, keep cooking as they are, and we'll stir them maybe a couple more times, and they'll be done. So now we're gonna prep our bread. I have my bolillos right here, and I'm just gonna go lengthwise, cut them open right through the middle, and we're gonna take some of the migajon out, which we really can't do much with. Just gonna put it on the side, and I'm gonna do the same for all four. I'm gonna be spreading the goat cheese evenly all across the bread so that every bite gives you that nice tanginess of the goat cheese. And I'm gonna do it on both sides of the bread, so the top and the bottom is gonna have some goat cheese. Now for the mushrooms, you wanna make sure that you have almost no juices. You wanna make sure that they're almost gone. And if you lift the pan and you bring everything towards you, if you see any juices going forward, then you wanna keep cooking it a little more. Right now, as you can see, there's no juices left, so I'm gonna shut it off. Let's fill our tortas. We're gonna fill it with the mushrooms, and I have some provolone, which is gonna go right on top to melt. You can use other melty cheeses like fontina, Swiss cheese, anything that is gonna melt nicely, you can use. Also get your oven nice and hot. I cranked it up all the way to 500 because they're only gonna be there for about 5 minutes. We just wanna melt that cheese and warm up that goat cheese real quick. Okay, the tortas are almost done. We got about a couple more minutes in the oven, but we need something to go along with them, and we need something acid, something acidic to cut through all of that fat. And I got some arugula, but you can use spinach, watercress, any other green will be great. We're just gonna put them in a bowl. And remember that mojo de ajo that we made? We're gonna use a little bit of that. So we're dressing our arugula nicely. I love lime juice. I'm just gonna squeeze some fresh lime juice right on top of it and some salt, okay? And toss them with your hand. And we're just gonna leave them on the side, and we're gonna add a little bit to each one of the tortas. You'll see. The bread has come out of the oven, so I'm just gonna take the bottom. I'm gonna add some of my arugula mixture right on top. I'm gonna press it gently so that it stays on it. I'm gonna take the top, put it right over it, and with a serrated knife, you always wanna go right through the middle, and we're gonna go right into the plate. So here it is, our finished product. We have our torta. It is lunchtime, so enjoy. It is time to eat. So, bon appetit.